Hello and welcome to the Growing Green Landscapes Podcast with Jeremiah Jennings. While still in his early 20s, Jeremiah already runs a successful six-figure lawn maintenance company. Listen in as he and his guests share the things that have brought them success that can help you in your business. As a young entrepreneur in the green industry, Jeremiah emphasizes the tips and tricks involved in running a lawn maintenance business while discussing the principles applying to all small businesses. If you're wanting to grow, become profitable and professional, you're in the right place. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode today here on the Growing Green Podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I just want to personally say thank you for tuning into today's show. It's an honor to be coming to you today on another beautiful Wednesday morning if you're listening to this thing real time, and I hope you're doing well. I hope your day is going to go well, or whatever day you're listening, whatever time of day it is. Hope you had a good day if you're listening at the end of the day. If you're in the middle of the day, I hope you're going strong, man. Keep on going. Maybe this will be the push you needed to get through the day. But I really do appreciate each and every one of you that listen to the show and help us continue to grow the Growing Green podcast here. And I really consider it a family. The listeners and the community that we have built here, I am so deeply appreciative, and I do want to take a minute just at the beginning of the show today and just continue to say thank you. I know I'd say it a lot, I don't say it enough, but each and every one of you that listen to the show and share it and give me feedback helps me get up and do another show the next week. And man, I tell you, this time of year, it's crazy busy. We all are. I know a bunch of you out there are. I'm not the only one. And a lot of you got a lot more problems and things to fix than I do in my small company. But getting up in the mornings, staying up late nights to record these podcasts after working a long day, it's not always easy. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who gives me feedback, who helps me here and just supports me in the show that I do, and everyone else that helps me along the way. All of our great guests that come along. I am so eternally grateful for all of you that have invested, especially back in the very beginning when there was no one listening to the show. I got to get a lot of those guests on that we had earlier in the show because a lot of those episodes we didn't have really any type of an audience then. So a lot of good guys told their stories and have a lot of knowledge that they can tell that didn't really get the platform that some of the other ones have, and as we've grown here recently. So if you are new to the show, thanks for tuning in. I guess we'll give you a little backstory of who we are here is I am Jeremiah Jennings, and I own Growing Green Landscapes in Central Alabama, and just a small lawn maintenance and a softscape light landscape install company here in Alabama, like we said. And I've been doing this is my fourth year in business full time. I bought it straight out of high school. I bought a business from the guy that I was working in it with, and we have taken it and since grown it. I bought it when we were pretty small. We were just doing some stuff, summer work, and he was paying his way through college. So I bought it from him, and we've taken it and grown it and really gotten trying to get very efficient. We have not always been that way, and that's actually one of the topics we're probably going to talk about today is something that has to do with efficiency, because we just recently got a product actually tonight when I'm recording this. The product showed up to my door, and if you're listening to this and you saw my story, you're going to know that we're really doing this podcast real time and late night, getting this thing banged out and put out here for all of you to hear. So got crazy busy week, got behind. We've just had a lot of other stuff going on, but anyway, back to kind of our story. If you're new to the show, bought the company then 3 years ago, 4 years ago, somewhere in there. I don't remember the exact date, but fourth year full-time in business, and we are still going strong. It's me and two other guys. We are trying to branch into 2 crews this year. I have had up to 4 employees so far at one time, but we're scaled back down. We've kind of turned into a niche company. We found our market that we're wanting to target, and we have a really tight service area. We've dropped that thing down because we were inefficient, and we can just kind of go ahead and go into that a little bit. And I'm going to talk about some topics today that I've talked about on the show before, but some of them were kind of earlier on. Like I said, I was going back through some of the earlier shows that didn't have high download numbers, and back when we didn't really have much of an audience. And there's a lot of good content that got packed in there that a lot of y'all haven't heard probably. So we were all over the place. We were spread everywhere. We were spread thin, and we had a lot of yards, man. I mean, for us, I don't know. I think we probably got up to 75 or 80 at one point. And the thing with that is we were working 5-6 days a week. Sometimes if it rained us out halfway through a day or something, we were working our butts off, and we were driving all over the place is the problem. Because our furthest yards, so like our furthest yards from each other, one would take 40. It would take 45 minutes to get from one end to the other, from 1 yard to the next, and that was from end to end. That was our route, and that's just not okay. We were not making money that way. We were not. We were making money. I was making profit, but not what we should have been. I should be way ahead where I am today, but. Back in the beginning, I was taking on anything I could take on just to get business, and a lot of people tell you to do that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that model. I don't know that I would personally recommend that. If you're a small business and you're trying to stay a small business for a while, you're not trying to rapidly grow and increase size and scale a company, then I don't know that I would take on anybody just to get business. You don't need to be expanding your service area if you're not going to be splitting up into 2 crews for them to go out there within the year. Like, if you're not looking to rapidly grow and scale your company, it can really be detrimental for you to take on those clients, because what you're going to do is you're going to fill up your schedule with 25 or 30 or 40 or however many clients you can do yourself, and you're going to get them all over the place, because that's where people are going to call from. Trust me, they call from all over. If you don't have your service area defined on your website, on your Facebook page, anywhere they can find you on social media, on a voicemail, if they call you and you say you service St. Clair County, for us, St. Clair County is the largest county in Alabama. So, I mean, it's 90 miles from one end to the next. Like, it's a big county. So you got to know where your service area is, and you have to define that for the customer. And if you don't do that in the beginning, you can really take on a lot of clients, and you can bring that on, but you're going to be stretched thin. You're not going to be making the money you need to make. And the problem with that is it's going to hurt your company. You're not going to grow the way you need to grow, because you're going to fill a schedule, but you're not going to be making money. Like, you're not going to be making money at the end of the day. And that's the problem, is if you don't take on all those clients in the beginning, and you just stay small, or not small, but you stay in your community, you really target that hard, you market it very well, you get postcards, you get door hangers, you get yard signs, you do EDDM, every door direct mail, get it straight to the subdivisions you want to be in, you hit that hard, then you have a really good chance of growing in that area. But if you're sitting out here taking on all these random clients from all over the place, you're going to fill a schedule, but you're not going to be doing profitable work. Whereas if you just wait and you define your service area, you hit it hard, then it might take you a little longer to pick up those clients, but you're going to make more profit and work less. Like, that's the thing, is if you're driving 10 minutes to do 5 yards or 45 minutes to do 10 yards, well, that 45-minute drive there, so you got an extra 70 minutes driving, 35 extra minutes driving there, 35 extra minutes driving back, and extra 70 minutes driving with you and 2 guys. I mean, that it depends on what your hourly rate is, but for us, it's $75 an hour. 2 guys in the truck, you got over an hour driving. I'm looking at between $170 and $180 that I'm losing on that drive time. Well, if I'm doing 4 or 5 neighborhood yards that we're in now, we're almost going to make that money up. Like, that's, if I do 5 yards at $45, then you're sitting at what, $220 or $225? Like, you're right there pretty close, where you could have just done the 5 yards and made just as much money, because you're not driving all over the place. So this is a long rabbit trail where I was going with this, but I hope it made a good point to some of you guys out there starting out. Is you hear people say, just take on what you can take on, because you got to do that in the beginning and get work. If you're not looking to scale a company, I would stay away from that as long as I can. And the problem with that is, one of the other points I want to hit on today that was from an earlier episode that we did a whole show on, and, oh, excuse me, man, this is my first yawn in a while. If you're a real listener of the show, you've been with us the whole time, man. You know, back in the beginning, when I was doing this thing, man, I would yawn in the middle of every episode, like 5 or 6 times. It got pretty bad, and I finally got it fixed as I got used to doing it a little more and talking consistently and stuff. I got it fixed, but hadn't, like I said, long day. We're doing this late night, so that one slips in here. But anyway, hand in hand with what we're talking about right now is not getting a huge service area, is you have to learn to say no in your company. in your business and whatever you want to call yourself. If you want to do it on the side, if you're doing a part-time, you're doing a full-time, you have 10 guys with you or one guy with you, or you're solo. You have to learn to say no. And if you don't do that in the beginning, it's going to hurt you bad. Like I said, I think I'm doing pretty good for 4 years in business. We're a lot further than other guys out there who've been in business for 10 or 15 years because of all the resources that I've had in the past 2 years to excel me rapidly to the next stage of my company. And we're still very small. Like, we have a long way to go. We have a lot of things to figure out. We're by no means where we need to be, but we're leaps and bounds ahead of where we could have been. But I still think I'm about a year to 2 years behind where I should be because I started those 2 years out the wrong way, and I didn't know how to say no to people. I had people call in, and I would just do the work because I just thought I had to, because they would call and request a quote, and I'd say, yeah, I'd be out there. I'd get out there, give them a quote. I wouldn't charge enough money, and I just didn't know how to say no. You didn't know your workload because, like I said, you're trying to take on everything you can. That's not always the best way to make money. It's not. It's the best way to turn money and like run money through the company, but it's not the best way to put money in the bank account and hold on to the money. That's the thing. You can circulate money doing that. You're not going to hold on to it that way. You're not going to be efficient. You're going to be profitable. So learn to say no in your company. It's very transformative. I know that it's a lot easier said than done. I know it sounds that way. You're hearing this and you're like, it's a lot easier said than done. I've heard that. Trust me. I've heard people tell me that, and I'm like, man, you're not in my spot. You don't know my position. I'm telling you, I promise you, across the board, you have to learn how to say no. So one thing I do want to discuss as we continue on with the show today is when we talk about here on the show, anything that I say, if I use anybody for illustrations, that we don't share their names or anything like that, but people that I've close to, I've heard other companies talk, I've heard on social media them talk about their policies or anything like that, and we use for examples. I'm not going to say anything that I wouldn't say to them in person. We wouldn't have discussions about this. So I do want to walk back what I was saying about being efficient in your company and learning to say no. And when I say, I've heard it all. I've heard that excuse, and it's hard. I say it's easier said than done. That's what I get a lot, and that's what I used to say. Is I do want to make sure and make this clear that whenever we talk about this stuff, whatever we say in business, there's really not many things where it's across the board. There's only one way to do it across the board because every scenario with everybody in their own company is different. Everybody has a different business model. Everybody has a different work ethic. Everybody has different dreams and goals of what they want their company to be. So I do want to make that clear is whenever we say stuff here on the show, whether it's advice or real life stories that we talk about or anything like that, examples of our company, how we've messed up because, man, we do a lot of it. Anything like that, I do want to say that I'm just saying what's working for us in that scenario, what's not working for us in that scenario. It's not across the board. Some people say postcards work. Some people say postcards don't work. It's all about your company and how you use them and what your business model looks like. So back to the whole saying no thing, though, that's one of those few things where it's across the board. That is across the board. You have to learn to say no from the beginning because if not, you're going to run your company into a very, very bad place. And if you don't figure it out now, it can just really hurt you down the road because it hurt me. Like I said, I'm 2 to 3 years behind where I should be in my business because I went too long at the beginning not saying no. So that is one more thing that I want to make sure we get across here that we talked about earlier on, that it wasn't a very highly downloaded episode, but it's something that is crucial, and I want to make sure that y'all get it. If we can give any advice in this show, that's one of the points. But that leads to efficiency. And efficiency, I think, may be our word for the year. I haven't really decided, but efficiency and profitability are two, they kind of go hand in hand, and that's really what we're going for this year. I want to pad the stats. I want to really sock money away and really do good in our company. I don't want to just keep, like I said earlier, running money through the business. I want to be putting money in our bank account and it's staying in our bank account for a while or going into other investments and assets. So another thing that we're doing to lead towards efficiency and take ourselves that way is you hear Caleb Allman talk about this, and a lot of other people, a lot of other companies who have machinery and stuff, they say mechanize. That get rid of the you have to have by hand labor all the time. Like those tasks need to be mechanized essentially, and it's a cost. It's an investment. And I say it's a cost. That's another thing that we could go, man, I could take a whole nother tangent on that, but we're not going to today. But cost versus investment. How are you going to look at that word? Because that word can be something that is daunting to a lot of people. It cost me a significant amount of money to work with Gulf Coast Bookkeeping for them to keep my bookkeeping and my records for the month. It cost me a significant amount of money per month to do that. Triple digit. Y'all need to call Gulf Coast Bookkeeping if you haven't already, and because there's something that I use in my personal business. That's why I'm recommending them. But it costs me money because they're doing a really good service for me. They are extremely good at what they do, and it costs me money. But what I said is, and this is something that you have to get through your head, is it a cost or is it an investment? And the thing with that is if you don't figure that out now, if you don't figure it out that it's an investment at the beginning, then you're going to look at it and you're not going to appreciate it for what it's worth. I'm spending the amount of money that I'm spending for them to, at the end of the day, save me money because they're going to have my books and everything categorized the right way, and they're going to help me make sure my taxes are in good shape. Now, they're not accountants, they're not CPAs, but they're going to make it easier for my accountant. It's going to be a lot better for him to look at it and say, yeah, that's right. Let's file and be done. And when the IRS comes after me one day, if they decide to, which we need to be prepared for, they haven't yet, but I'm sure it's coming one day, especially if we continue to grow and become more profitable and stay successful in our company. We'll probably get on the radar one day. But by doing that, all that stuff's going to be in order. And when that day happens, I'm going to look back and say, man, all the money I spent on Gulf Coast Bookkeeping really paid off because here's all the categorizations, here's all the receipts that we have, here's everything, here's all the documentation you need. Go look through it, have a heyday. They're going to look through it and they're going to say, yep, you did everything legit, and you moved on, and they moved on to the next company. So cost versus investment, you got to also figure that thing out at the beginning. So back to mechanization, that's another side tangent there. But really, when I think of a good point that I think needs to be discussed, that I wish I would have known and thought that way a couple years ago, I want to always hit on it. Is I don't want to get so far into the point that I was trying to hit. I don't want to miss something else. So that was another side point there. But back to the mechanization, it's an investment into your company. It is up front. It costs. I just bought a piece of equipment, and it is a Cartmate from Dawson Manufacturing, Mulchmate, and I'm so excited. People have been telling me forever. I talked to the guys at Mulchmate, talked to Nick and some of the other sales reps at GIE for a while. I ate dinner with them one night, and really, really good products, really great team that they have up there, and I just didn't really have a need for it, or I thought I didn't have a need for it. And we were just talking more about it and how efficient it is and things like that, how much labor it saves, and just overall how it can help your company. And so I've been thinking about it. And as we go on into 2022, as we get more landscape installs and more just landscape jobs, mulch, dirt work, sod, everything goes along with that, anytime that you need to use a wheelbarrow, essentially, I'm like, every time I push a wheelbarrow, I think to myself, I could have a Cartmate right now. I could be riding a mower, taking it to that spot, dumping it, and then going back and just riding the mower all day long, instead of having to push a wheelbarrow up a hill to unload mulch or whatever it may be, rock or whatever. Dirt, that's the worst thing, man. Moving dirt in a wheelbarrow is terrible. Dirt is so heavy. But anyway, so I've thought about it, and I finally pulled the trigger last week. And I haven't even used it yet. At the time of the recording of this podcast, I haven't even used it yet. Plan on using it at the end of this week. We have a sod job coming up where we're going to have to bring dirt in. We're going to have 10 yards of mulch, and we're going to have to move 3 pallets of sod. So we're going to have a lot of stuff that I think is going to be really useful for, and I'm very excited. But the point in that is it's an investment. It costs, y'all know what Cartmates cost. If you don't know what they cost, go look them up. They're over $1,000. And it costs money. But the thing is how much time and how much labor and backbreaking work is that going to save me down the road? It's way more than $1,000 now. Like in 6 months to a year, probably before that, it's already going to pay off how much money that thing saves me. So efficiency, profitability, if that's our word for the year, you got to take that and you have to implement that in all areas of your company. You have to implement it by hiring Gulf Coast Bookkeeping or whatever service you may want to use. Maybe your wife is a good bookkeeper and she can do it. If you want to do it that way, if she's part of the business that way, then do it. But make sure you do it well. If you're going to do it right. Get up with the right software. Invest in a CRM, in a yard book, in a Jobber, in an LMN, whatever it may fit your company, whatever it is. Invest in that. Invest in the right employees. Invest in the right equipment. Mechanize. That's what we're doing. Cartmate isn't mechanical, but in a sense it is because it's hooking up to the mower and it's just taking back-breaking labor away from having to push a wheelbarrow all day long. So in efficiency and profitability, that's our goal for the year. By getting the Cartmate, I think it's going to really take us there to the next level. So in efficiency, I would love to hear what steps are y'all taking for to implement more efficiency and profitability into your companies this year. And I've been listening to a bunch of other podcasts, and they say, and this isn't even like how to podcast, anything like that. I'm just other successful podcasts out there. They always and even like Brian's on Brian Fullerton Unfiltered on one of his last episodes. I think it was a closing. He was saying, "What is your call to action?" And a call to action is you got to leave the customer or the listener in this case something to do. Well, my call to action for y'all is let me know, give me some feedback, and I want to hear if you're listening to this episode. Shoot me a DM on Instagram or shoot me an email. Both of those links will be in the show notes today. And let me know what steps are you taking to increase your profitability and your efficiency in your company this year. It doesn't have to be something life-changing. It could be something as simple as, hey, I got a software. I'm going to use a CRM to help me route and keep time of my employees this year. That's awesome. That is awesome stuff. I mean, that can change your company right there. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to spend $1,000 in a Cartmate or $30,000 to get a mulch mate or whatever those dump trailers cost. The trailers with the mulch mates on the back that they make. I don't even know. I don't know how much they are. I just threw $30,000 out, but upwards of between 10 and 20,000, I think, somewhere in there for the whole trailer outfitted with the mulch mate and everything. But numbers don't really matter there. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be some huge, outrageous amount of money that you spend. It could be the yard book free version or the $30 a month yard book version, like something so simple that can change your company and really make you more efficient and more profitable. So my call to action for all of our listeners out there is let me know. Let me know. I want to hear who's really paying attention and listening to this show, and by shoot me a DM on Instagram or an email and letting me know what are you doing in your company to increase your efficiency and your profitability. So one thing I do want to leave you here is I want to run through 10 points that I found here online. I want to give you a little bit of value. If you haven't gotten anything up to this point, I think these 10 points will still help you, especially if you're in the beginning of your company. And maybe you're not in the beginning of your company, but you just haven't been doing things right from the beginning. Who knows? We always say our target audience has been to target people who are young in business, no matter what your age, but you're young in business if you're starting out. So I want to run through 10 points that I've just found just scrolling earlier off Investopedia. I'll give them I'll tell you where I got it from just so you can go look it up and read the article if you want to. But just 10 points on growing a successful business. And I'm not going to, you take with these whatever you may, but I thought some of them made some really good points in here. So as we close out the show today, we're going to run through these and then repeat the call to action one more time just so y'all can hear it, and then we'll wrap this thing up. So number one, get organized. Obviously, you need to have if you want to have success in your company, you got to be organized from day one. You can't be running around like a chicken with your head cut off all the time. There's definitely going to be times where that happens, but be organized the best you can. Keep detailed records. That's their second point, and that's a huge one, man. What like I just said, when the IRS comes after you, have those records. Have everything there where don't be shady, because if you're shady and you're doing stuff on the side, when the IRS does come after you, when they pick your name out of a hat for them to come get it, then you better have all your stuff there. And if you don't, if you run your business for 2 or 3 years in the beginning and you don't have that stuff, then it can not end up well for you. And if you have ran it shady for the past couple of years, I'm not going to say that's okay, but you can't change it now. You just got to fix it moving forward. So if you have ran it bad in the first couple of years, fix it. Move forward in 2022. Keep extremely detailed records. Keep all your receipts, everything like that. Analyze your competition. This is a good one. What do you want to do? What is your competition? And it depends on what market you're in. If you're a lawn maintenance company, if you're a hardscaper, if you do landscape installs only, whatever it may be, French drains. Figure out your competition. How are they doing things, and how can you be better than them? Can you have better customer service? Can you have a better overall product? Can you do the service faster? What can you do? Analyze your competition, figure out where their weak link is, and fix it and be better than that company. Number 4, understand the risk and the rewards. There's a bunch of risk and a bunch of rewards that come with being a business owner. We were just having this conversation with my in-laws the other day, and we were talking about all the risk of it. I have to get up and go provide, and we have to grow our company and build a foundation to make $1 every day. And that's what a lot of you out there doing. You're hustling, man. You are creating your future and your own income and your own. You could change your family legacy, your family tree by going out there and hustling. But a lot of us small business owners, if we're not doing it, if we're not big corporations, so if we're not out there grinding every day, if something happens, there's a risk involved. We're not making money. We're not generating revenue. So those are the risks. Now, the rewards are great. You can go on trips. You can create your own free time. You can create your own schedule. You can generate as much income as you want to make to live the lifestyle you want to live. And all the in my personal view, I figure out what I want to do, and I pick a lifestyle that I want to live, and then we're going to work backwards. We're going to say, all right, what are we going to do to get there? We're going to figure out where we want to go, how we want to live, and then we're going to do what it takes to get there. So that's our philosophy, and there are a lot of risk and rewards that come with being a business owner. Be creative. Being creative is a good thing and a bad thing for business owners. I say it's a bad thing. It's hard to be creative sometimes, and it's hard even like creating these podcasts and creating Instagram content. A lot of you are really good at creating Instagram content. I am not. I am not a creative person by nature. So if you can be a creative business owner and create new ideas, create new philosophies for your company, maybe new team building activities, or you can create new designs for your customers, they can really take that and that can take your company to the next level. If you are a creative mind and can take things and implement them and take your company to the next level, do that by all means. Be creative. Number 6 is stay focused. Focus is a big thing. You got to figure out what your end goal is. And like I said, we figured out the lifestyle that we want to live, and we're focused on that. We want to be there, and so how are we going to get there? And that's the focus that we have. You have to be focused in running your business every single day. Number 7, prepare to make sacrifices. And I know we're running through these quick. Y'all can go look at this article if you want to, and there's some more notes in here with these. But prepare to make sacrifices. That is a very real one. I know a lot of you guys out there are hustling, you're grinding, you're working 2 jobs, you're working a full-time job and doing this on the side, you're working Saturdays, you're putting your kids on the bus in the mornings because you're out early and you get home late, you're putting them to bed, and there are sacrifices involved, but just remember why you do it. Remember that focus. Go back to the next point up, and we just talked about stay focused. What is your end goal? All right, so if you stay focused on that end goal while you're making the sacrifices, it's going to make things a lot easier in the end. Provide great service. This kind of goes back to analyzing your competition. Provide a better service than your competition. That's what you got to do. You got to take your business to the next level. Number 9 is be consistent. Man, be consistent is key. Is show up on time. When you say you're going to get there, get there. If somebody calls you, call them right back if you miss them. If you don't miss, it's better to not miss them. It's better to just answer the phone. But if you do miss the call them right back as soon as you can. So if you're in a meeting, as soon as you get out of the meeting, call them back and get with them. And just be consistent in everything you do. If you mow the yard one way and that's what the customer likes, be consistent in that. Figure out what they like. Be consistent. And that can really help you take your company to the next level. There's some more points in here that some more conversation starters that we could get into, but we're not going to do that today because I feel like this has been a rambling episode. I don't know that you got any. I know you didn't get a lot if you got any value out of this episode, but I hope you got a little bit. I want to wrap this up. Like I said, I just wanted to run through those and give you just a little bit of value here at the end of the show. So if you did get anything out of the show, I would love for you to leave us those ratings and reviews. A 5-star rating really helps us. You can leave them on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thank you to everyone who listens in and shares the show. Share the show on your Instagrams too, man. I love to reshare when people listen in. And that really helps us get out there. I mean, if we had 10 people share the show and each person has 100 followers, then we just reached 1,000 new people potentially that haven't heard of the show before. So we're trying to grow. In the process of growing we're implementing a lot of these things that I just went over. We're trying to analyze competition. We're trying to the risk and the rewards. We have to be creative. We have to stay focused on our goal. We have to make sacrifices. We have to provide great content, and we have to be consistent in the way we do it. And so those are all things we're trying to implement here at the Growing Green podcast. If you enjoy it, leave those ratings and reviews. Remember, call to action. Another call to action is shoot me a DM and let me know, how are you becoming more efficient and more profitable? What changes are you making in your company this year in 2022 or whenever it is you're listening? If you're down the road in time, let me know how you're doing that, because that's the call to action doesn't end in time. Whenever you're listening, let me know. I'd still love to hear about how you are changing your company and becoming more efficient, more profitable, and just overall a better business owner. Thanks again for tuning in to the show. This is Jeremiah Jennings, your host, signing off for today. We look forward to catching up with y'all here on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green Landscapes podcast. We know you have many other podcast options to choose from, and don't take it for granted that you chose to spend some time with us today. You can connect with Jeremiah Jennings at Growing Green Landscapes on Instagram, or use the link in the show description. Don't forget to smash the follow button on the podcast and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. We hope you crush it in your business and hope to catch you on our next episode.